I was with my road manager, Brad, and we drove by this place called the Red Martini. And I had been there before. It's been years, right? And as we drove by it, I looked at Brad and I said, man, when's the last time we ever went in there? And me and Brad just had this discussion within the last month of probably about 12 years ago, we were in a club. And I remember I looked at him, I said, hey man, when does this end? When does this end that we just stop going to clubs? When do we become the old guys in a club? Because I was already starting to feel it. And that was 12 years ago. And he goes, I don't know, man. And then we drove by the Red Martini and I go, remember we had that discussion years ago? When does it end? I go, well, it's over. I have no desire to go to a nightclub at all, unless I'm getting a little change, some money in my pocket. I still want people sometimes want me to come to after parties. Or every now and then you'll be with a group and you go out and you have a good time. But even then, if we ain't got a section, I ain't dealing with the crowd anymore. I got to sit down. So we drove by it. It's the Red Martini. So here's the story gets funny. The very next day, there's a video of Lotto, Usher, and Kevin Hart in a nightclub. And you see Kevin like he does not want to be there. And Lotto's in her 20s, so she's right in it. She's in the pocket right now. This is clubbing age. And Usher just seemed like he was smoking a hookah. So I don't know where Usher was at. But Kev clearly didn't want to be there. And then I watched the video a couple of times, and then I realized, I don't know if I saw a bottle girl in the back. I don't know if I saw a light, but it said Red Martini. I said, holy shit. At the exact day that me and Brad drove by there and said, I have no desire to ever go in there again. I am too old. I'm tired. That's where Kevin was, looking too old and too tired, and his face red. That's what his face said. And I was like, oh, my God. Kev was the exact guy I said I would be if I was to go into Red Martini right now. I thought it was just such a coincidence that happened the same day that we drove by Red Martini, and then talking about we're too old to be in there, and then Ken does a video where he looks too old to be in there. I just thought the coincidence, I was like, what are the chances? I'm thinking about some nights in Atlanta, some club nights. There was one night, man, I went out, and I don't think I told my wife I was going out that night. Because some nights, like, sometimes my ex, she just wanted me to get on stage and go home. And that was it. Or go back to the hotel and that was it. And I was like, man, you're on such a rush sometimes. Especially when you're in your 30s, 20s and 30s. It's hard just to go back to the room. Now where I'm at, I can't wait to get back to my room and just chill out after the show. It's like, oh. I was like, man, it happened. But anyways, there was one night I didn't tell her. And I went to some nightclub, and it was open late, and I was ready to go. There was a shooting. The shooting was either right outside the club or in the club or something. But they locked everybody in. I think there was a shooting in the club, and the guy ran out, and they didn't know where he was. They were chasing him in the parking lot. They locked everybody in the club, and we couldn't leave till like 5 a.m. And I just remember we were sitting there, and my ex started calling, and I just had to own it. Like, hey, we went out, we're stuck. Because I couldn't be like this. I couldn't tell like 1,000 people, shh, please, my wife's on the phone. Can everybody quiet down? I didn't tell her I was going out. This was probably this was a long time ago. This was like 2008. Man, it's a long time ago. And you want to know why I know that? Because I remember, my memory's weird sometimes. Barack was running for office, and John McCain was, and I was somewhere, my hotel or something, and I had a Barack button and a John McCain button. And then I went in some brother's section, and I put the John McCain button on, but I didn't put it on, I just held it up to my chest, and the brother took it and stomped on it. He started like, hey man, you get me weird into my section. We started laughing. So that's why I remember what year that was. It was 2008 because I had those buttons on. Wow. Yeah, dude got shot and I was just stuck. Like, oh my God, I got nowhere to go. So yeah. So in other news, remind me not to get any battle with Chris Brown Seriously, what can that guy not do? He can dance. He can play basketball. He's a great athlete. He did all his stunts and takers, R&B, and now we're finding out he can rap and do diss tracks. Did I say dance? Yeah, I said dance. He went so hard at Quavo. I was like, oh, and it was so direct. It was like a throwback. Because now a lot of the disses, Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole's, if you're not familiar with them, you're like, what are they talking about? I don't know. Boy, Chris Brown, you know what he was talking about? I slept with your girl. I was like this. You can have my old bitch because I got the new bitch. I slept with your girl when you was with her. I was like this. Whoa, 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 whoa. It was just, and it was hard. And then Quavo took a couple days and he responded. But Quavo, man, the way he raps and his cadence, it's like, what? You got to really listen and lock in, and it ain't got that. Chris sounds like he's in your face and all rapping like this. Quavo, his diss track sounds like he's looking this way, but you're over here, and he's dissing you, and you're like, is he talking about me or isn't he? I was like, you. So, in my humble opinion, Chris Brown absolutely destroyed Quavo if we're going off this rap battle. And I think most people would agree, unless you're just a huge Quavo fan and can't be honest with yourself. There's no doubt that was a freaking annihilation. And the fact that it was an R&B guy, I was like, Chris Brown. I'm like, the guy's so damn talented. He's like, oh. I was like, and it came out of nowhere. And then I've seen those videos of him and some of these celebrity games always calling out Quavo. And Quavo's a good basketball player too. Like Chris Brown and Quavo, yeah. That's what they should do to settle this. Play a game of 21. Let's not fight or shoot. Let's just play a game of 21. Both of you can hoop. Both of you take pride in your hoop games. Don't get your teams together. Don't have Chris Brown get a team from Virginia or LA and Quavo get a team from Atlanta. You guys play 21. Just you two. And see, and then we can squash it that way. Or have some fun with it anyways. But yeah, it's just like, it'd be almost like Michael Jackson coming out with a diss record against LL Cool J back in the late 80s or early 90s. The fact that an R&B guy just went that hard on a guy that all he does is rap. I was like, can you imagine Michael Jackson when he came to LL back in like 89? He could have rapped over, I need love. When I'm alone in my room, I can see, that's really what the equivalent was. I was like, I never seen, it reminded me not to get on Chris Brown's bad side. And every time I've met Chris and Quavo, but I'm not a very confrontational dude, but I've only met Quavo a couple times in social settings. It's always been cool. Chris Brown I met 4 or 5 times. Every time cool. I was shocked that first time I met him was in Vegas, and somebody I knew his bodyguard. And they called me up to his area, and then Chris Brown goes, "What's up, man? Big fan." I was like, "Really?" That's what I thought Kid Rock was going to say, what Chris Brown said. And then we ended up talking about takers, and I was like, "Did you do your own stunts and takers?" And he was like, "Yeah." We was talking about Will Packer and everything like that. And it's just cool. And then, of course, he was in Think Like a Man, so he wasn't there a lot, but a couple of days he was shooting. He was cool. And then see him in Vegas a couple of times. Chris Brown's always been cool to me, but I'm not addicted to people either. So, and I don't start beefs. Even though after this, giving my opinion on the rap beef, the diss records, I'm sure Quavo ain't gonna like me. I'm just giving my opinion. This ain't personal. This ain't nothing bad on Quavo. I just think Chris Brown won this rap battle. Similar to how Drake, I think, destroyed Meek Mill years ago when they had their little rap battle. When Drake did back-to-back, I was like, oh my God, Drake just destroyed Meek Mill. So, that Meek Mill's a bad guy, though. I just think he got destroyed in that, just like Chris Brown destroyed Quavo in this. So, happens. You know what I mean?